Welcome to Tom Strong Reviews. In this video I'm going to review the ZURU Fidget by Antsty Labs spinners. As you can see, I've got one spinning here, and as you can see by the frames per second rate and the spin rate of these things, they're fast. Particularly good bearings. Let's go through the review and see how good I think these are. This is just a post-it pad that I'm going to stand my blue spinner and give it a little spin to show you, or demonstrate I guess, how well the ball bearings are in these. Now ZURU make a proud claim that their ball bearings, being zinc plated, are particularly good. Now of course ball bearings are all about giving this frictionless or low friction spin motion with low resistance, and that's one of the great things about these things, that they actually do spin. There's very little noise and they spin well on the tops and the bottoms. There's no particular advantage or disadvantage. Now many fidget spinners can get 1-2 minute spins, no problem. And I didn't do a particularly hard spin, but I've been getting 3.5, 4.5 minutes all the time. So 4 minutes 40 seconds is what I'm going to predict with the blue one. I get about the same 4 to 5 minutes again with the pink one. They come in 4 colours. It's also available in black. I've got the blue here, got the pink, and you can also get it in a red, which is a much deeper colour than the pink is here. Now this is what you'd call a 3-lobed fidget spinner. So if you call each of these arms lobes, that's quite a common way of referring to it, and each of the lobes has its own bearing, and so I can actually quite freely grab and spin my fidget spinner around the hand. And obviously the weighted isn't balanced, and so it doesn't spin very well. And the whole idea of the centre area, you've got these caps here, the plastic caps to grip by, allows you to do a spin. Now I've spun it from one hand on the other, and what I like particularly about these spinners is, yes, horizontally you can balance them on your fingers, etc., but what I really like is when you actually have them spinning and you're playing with them, going from the horizontal to the and off the vertical axis, because you can really feel the gyroscopic forces and actions in play. So there's some really good stuff here that I think will get people thinking about the bearings, the balance, the friction, the resistance. And I'm not saying I can do many tricks. I've got particularly big hands, so what I'm able to do is I'm able to transfer the spinner across all my fingers, even onto my middle finger, which not everyone can do because the gap between your thumb point and your pad on your smallest finger might not be large enough, but it does mean I can balance them. When I balance it well, I can balance them on each of my finger points, as well as of course the thumb. Now some people can do fancy tricks where they're actually transferring them from one hand to the other, and I've just done a terrible example, but I want to keep that timer going where I've dropped it midway through. But some people are very clever and they can throw it from one hand to the other over great distances. I think I did about 5 centimeters there, and keep the unit spinning like I just managed to there. So I'm not particularly a good trickster, but I do find them fascinating. They feel very good. They're quiet. They do occupy your hands and in some ways your mind, because you're having to learn and feel the balance as you go. And I think the manual dexterity and the focus that you have makes this harmless and non-noisy toy great fun. I really do think there's something quite good about this. Now I'm spinning it off with one hand and the other, but if you want to have 2 of these, you're going to have to learn how to flick start your own with one hand. Now a lot of people will hold it with their middle finger because it's the largest, again because it's clearance gap, but if you can manage to get it between your thumb and index finger, you can then flick off. I'm doing it very slowly, as though, I'm going to take my hand away, I hope I didn't knock that fidget spinner. Well, if I did, it's invalidated test a bit, but you're going to flick the fidget spinner with your middle finger. So whilst you're holding it here, you can do a flick as though you're flicking a P on a desk or something similar. So holding it in your hand, you kind of flick and you can get decent spin, and it does mean you can have 2, one in each hand. And when this stops spinning, and I can see it's getting close, it's 4 minutes. It's going to easily do 4 minutes unless I disturbed it or something horrible. No problem at all. Now a lot of people do just like to get them spinning on the table and see how long they can spin. These are particularly good. I've seen many other, let's just say non-branded fidget spinners that don't do anything like the 4+ minutes that this easily does. And you can see that, I'm going to quickly flip the pink one over, that it does it just as well up and down, where again some fidget spinners have seem to have a friction or an issue on one side where they only spin well on one. Now the blue one stopped at 4:16. I've done many 4:40s. All I can really do, seeing as I managed to knock the pad and possibly the spinner during the first part of the video, I'm going to just set up another good spin get my trusty timer going. As you can see, it's a real timer, so of course you've got the timers on the video. And there's a few other things I want to just explain. All the fidget spinners, it's quite common that you've got these caps that you can actually remove, so they're actually not always easy to remove, but they're actually wedged on. So you might be able to pry these up and pull them off, and then you can obviously see the insides of the bearings. Now, I don't recommend doing that unless you've got an issue where you've got fluff or dust in there, because they're sealed as they can be, because you don't want grit or dust to get in there, because the more that gets into your bearings, the more friction and the less they'll spin. So they'll still spin well enough in your hand when you're giving a good old push and spinning, but they won't spin as long and as free as they're doing as I'm trying to show you there. These currently retail in the UK for £6.99. In euros that's $7.50, and in US dollars it's $5.99. Now, these particularly good quality brands also encourage other companies to do licensing with them. So there's a real advantage here with these ZURU spinners by Ansty, in that you can now get official branded DC spinners and Marvel spinners. So currently there's a range where you've got Wonder Woman, Superman and Batman from DC, and Marvel have got Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man and Captain America. I think the Captain America one's quite particularly good because it really does make use of the circular thumb center point that you spin. All the action goes around, so I'm really looking forward to doing that, to seeing those. I'm going to, of course, come back. The timer's going to spin. Nothing going to be fiddled here at all, but I'm going to make sure I don't knock the spinner like I did a minute ago. And let's just see how long this blue one can spin. The spinner weighs in at about 44-45 grams. Package box, in case you're interested in the shipping weight, is 80 grams. You've really got to rip open the whole side of the package to get into the actual spinner, and it's really securely held onto this cardboard backing. You can kind of start pushing, but you're going to have to rip and tear this plastic cover off and get to your spinner. Just got it for 4 minutes, and you can see the blue one's still spinning. I've been just practicing and continuously playing with the pink one. I particularly like when you film these things spinning. There comes a point when, apart from the camera catching the light, etc., they almost feel like they're spinning backwards, so there's some quite good fun effects going on there. But yes, my favourite though, however, is the gyroscopic feel. Hold them horizontally and then move them vertically, and you feel that resistance. Do that snaking move, and you really do feel a resistance. Blue's just stopped there at 4 minutes 35 seconds, which I find about average. It's going about 4.5 to 4 minutes 40 seconds is about the longest I've had. I think this really does prove that these bearings are particularly good. So if you want a long spinner, really recommend these ZURU Spinners by Antsy Labs. Hope you enjoyed my video. Please feel free to subscribe, comment and like.